Hey there everybody, welcome to Get Indie Gaming. February's a big month for the AAA market, with the likes of a new Crackdown and Anthem hitting the shop floors. Bigger doesn't always mean better though, so let's settle down and take a view over my top 10 best looking indie games also coming out over the course of this month. First up in our countdown for February, we have Fimbul, which comes to PC, all things being well, towards the end of the month. Named after the final winter before Ragnarok, Fimbul is a 3D adventure with comic book stylings and comes to us all wrapped within Norse tales and legends. You play as an aging berserk on a journey where along the way you'll battle trolls and any number of other beasts and giants. I'm quietly optimistic on Fimbul. It has a rough around the edges sort of look to it, although there's something here in the footage that keeps and holds my interest. At number 9, and the first of two games this month with similar playing systems, Degrees of Separation looks to be a fine puzzler where the two on-screen characters are able to influence each other's worlds by way of their interactions and positions relative to each other. If implemented with care and skill, this could be one of those little puzzler hidden gems that often don't see the cut-through they really deserve. Degrees of Separation launches February 14th on the PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox and the Nintendo Switch. Longer time fans of the channel will recognise our number 8. Astroneer comes out of game preview and early access on the first day of the month for PC and Xbox. Now, I first played Astroneer a good 2 or so years ago. When it first came out it was buggy as hell, although the explorative gameplay, particularly the caving sections, the online multiplayer option is enjoyable when played with a group of mates, and the character designs feel jolly and in keeping with everything else Astroneer has to offer. I'll certainly be updating my game preview version of Astroneer the day it launches. At number 7 we have Hyper Jam, and wow, just look at those neon drenched colours at play here. It's something right out of those 1980s t-shirts that changed colour when you got all hot and sweaty. At its core, Hyper Jam is a reasonably simplistic arena brawler, although the looks hide a fascinating concept within its mechanics of play. Between rounds, beginning with the player at the bottom end of things, you get to pick new abilities or buff what you have already. Those with more points can then choose from what's left and so on and so forth, with the better players having a limited selection from which to choose. In terms of balancing and keeping the playing field level, it's certainly an interesting approach. Hyper Jam is launching February 12th on the PC, PlayStation 4 and the Xbox. Away, Journey to the Unexpected finds itself at number 6. This one drips onto the PC and all of the usual consoles over a staggered release, starting from February 4th out to the 13th. I'm really rather taken with the character design, with their 2D features playing off against a 3D world. I'm also really keen on the overall aesthetics with the bright and garish colours, together with this hint of it having roguelike elements. All in all, Away, Journey to the Unexpected seems likely to give players an all-round feel-good type of adventure, and in all fairness, right now who doesn't want a piece of that? At the halfway point we have Rainswept, which drops on the first day of the month. Personally, first and foremost I'm drawn to the art style, and having played the demo a while ago, I'm also very taken with the story and the narrative direction on offer. Here we have a good old detective game in which you're investigating what seems to be a murder-suicide of a couple at their home. Looking at Rainswept, it's hard not to conjure up images of a certain TV show I'll leave unnamed, although with the underlying premise of mystery, lots of rain, lots of coffee and lots of beautiful pine trees, I'll assume many of you of a certain age are thinking along similar lines. Rainswept will first come onto the PC and Mac, and like no doubt many others, hope to see it jump onto consoles at some point down the line. At number 4 and out the first day of February, Wargroove is a turn-based strategy game for up to 4 players, and for those of old enough to remember, it's essentially something like Advanced Wars for the current generation. You can play this one on Switch, the PC and the Xbox, and having seen early footage it seems clever, tightly produced, and did I mention you can get to play if you so desire as a poppy dog in full-on head-to-tail body armour? Surely. Any of the other 11 playable characters are by default surplus to requirements. In any case, Wargroove offers a stiff challenge, and while sadly you can't save the game at launch between battles, that's really only a minor grumble. Although it's still early in the year, Wargroove is a tough, well put together top-down turn-based affair. I think it's going to be hard to beat. If you like these, I'll argue it's an essential purchase and play, particularly on the Switch where it feels so very much at home. The first runner-up for the month at number 3, Eastshade, has been in development for 5 or so years and lands onto the PC February 13th. To be honest, for something as stunning looking as what's on screen now, I can't quite believe more people aren't making a noise about this one. As this video airs, there isn't too much in the way of press interest, so perhaps together we can look to change this. In Eastshade, you play as a wandering painter making your way across an open-world fantasy island. As you travel, you're able to capture the world with paint on canvas, and having done so, you can offer your works to NPCs to trade for items, knowledge, and hidden secrets. Like perhaps others will naturally already have said, there's an element here of Elder Scrolls Oblivion to Eastshade, which makes it, for me at least, very much a game I'll fire up on the PC the very moment I'm able. Its premise is genuinely unique, and one that may find a wider audience should it come to consoles at some point in the future. At number 2, Ape Out from the always reliable Devolver Digital. It's one of my most hotly anticipated and wanted indie games coming out all year on the Switch. Out February 7th also via Steam, this hyper-violent top-down arcade action smash-em-up comes with a super stripped-back vibrant visuals and levels that generate on the fly and so will differ each time your character dies. Having played the demo last year, Ape Out has a simple move, grab and smash control system, all within a jazz-heavy soundtrack with the drums and percussion all used to highlight and intersperse the on-screen violence. Visually, the ape's antics are straight up vicious, with it using its captors as human shields and even weaponizing their flimsy bodies against each other. This all seems to be a classic from Devolver. I seriously can't wait to play it. Our number 1 for February, well, it might be somewhat controversial. After all, Project Winter is only coming out in early access and won't be launching as a full game for another 3 to 6 months. That being said, I love the premise here. Stuck out in a frozen wilderness, 8 players will need to work together in this co-op survival game to see off attacking bears, track down supplies, and make sure their accommodation is fully up to scratch. It's all about survival and ultimately escape. What sets it apart is a wonderful little twist. Sitting amongst the 8 players are 2 traitors whose sole goal is to cause ultimate mischief and prevent the others from escaping. The developers' other ocean have indicated success will derive from careful communication, so players will need to make use of proximity chat, walkie-talkies, and via the use of on-screen emotes. I'm thinking Project Winter could turn out to be a fine little gem and something to really enjoy. Well, either that or it'll cause many a case of gamer anxiety and doubt as you flesh out the sour apples in the basket. So why early access? Well, the plan is to gather additional player feedback, to add additional polish, and to flesh out new maps and items and much, much more. So then, what are your picks for this February? Please feel free to let us know down in the comments. If you like the video, please click that like button, and if you haven't, subscribing and selecting the notification bell means you won't ever miss anything we post, be it indie game news, reviews, and countdowns. Many thanks once again for watching. I'm always hugely grateful for your continued support and look forward to seeing you all here again soon for another indie game video.